be tight end number one. All right, everyone. You got your Carolina Boys Frat House podcast is starting now. This is upcoming for week 7. This your boy Big Brother Amazing A. Got my co-host. Yes, sir, the Frozen Panther. Listen, man, how's your week, man? Yeah. That actually hurt me, man. Uh, that's listen, that is live. Yeah, man. That's why I said it was a great week, man. Um, you know, you had that, like I said, South Carolina State came with the win during North Carolina AT homecoming. You had the Panthers. We'll get in that later. Panther had no business against the Cowboys. So it was a great week with that. It's just like I said, with D'Angelo passing made things a little more solemn. But your boy man actually got back into the gym and actually had a gym usual. See, the shirt I had a Tough Mudder shirt, and the guy was like, "Hey man, when did you do Tough Mudder?" And I was like, "Man, I did that a long time ago, like 10 years ago." And like he was like, "Hey, I'm trying to do Tough Mudder next year up in Philly." So I was like, "Hey, we'll see, man." I was like, "I gotta get back." Like when I did Tough Mudder, man, I'm thinking about it, but I'll say this: back then, I was like, 160, and I was like, slim and in great shape. Like I was running like 3 miles a day, like nothing. And my knees were fresh. I was around that time, man. I was remember Sean T Insanity. I was Yeah, I was running 3 miles, and then the other days I was doing Sean T Insanity. Yeah, yeah. Like dog, you could knock out Insanity, and then just do like some, deadlifts or whatever and be good for that would be a good workout for the rest of the day. And I was hmm and yeah, so you doing all that those hit exercises, by the time, you get to the race, you know, on a run, it's like you're so pumped up, but then it's like it's a whole lot of people. And the biggest problem is when the obstacles come, it's like you're technically resting because you have to wait in line because so many people. And it's not like running 3 straight miles or like, I think he saw something say 12 miles. I'm like, dog, trust me, you're not going to run 12 straight miles. It's like, yeah, yeah, like you can do that, but like a lot of people are just standing, woo woo, cheering, and like you doing your thing, like there's one part where you swimming, but it's like, hey, they can only have so many amount of people in the water. You know how to swim, you swim a good bit, then it's like, okay, now you got to wait a little bit because now you got to dry off. There's this one thing when you carrying a haystack. Okay, you got to wait till a certain, yeah, man. Yeah, like it was the true story, man. I went with one of my homeboys. He is a bodybuilder. Bodyman. I'm talking about, excellent shape, cut up. But like I told the guy at the gym, like, when you guys with all that muscle, you guys get tired running, doing any type of running. And I remember when we was doing Tough Mudder, we got halfway through and I was still fresh. And I remember I was joking around like, oh snap, we halfway there. Like, I'm doing like the Dion, steps and all that. And I turned to look at my homeboy, and he's like, hey man, like hold on, brother. Like hold on. Like he's exhausted. Like, hold on, man. Like, hold on. And I was like, dog, you tired? Dog, he actually had to go to the hospital after the race. He completed the race, but he had to go to the hospital. His body was, yeah, his body, they say his body was completely dehydrated, and had to pump him full of liquids and stuff. He had to spend the day at the hospital. And he told me about, uh, Mhm. the the funny I would say is, listen, I remember when watching the little race and they're showing the electrical traps that you can get electrocuted, and I was worried about that. I'm like, oh hell, like we get this part, dog. When I tell you, I breezed through that part, like like that part. I was mostly worried about that part, and that probably was the easiest part. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. You crawl in the mud. They have like the wires above. Really, it's like army training, man. And like I said, that part is intense. But and then like I said, there's different parts. You gotta climb like a little a straw hill, climb a little hill and go back down, and like like you know like I said, the only thing is like you sort of have to wait in line for some of those activities. So it's yeah, yeah, and I don't know why I told myself I'm like I'm gonna have to crawl and then jump up and then grab this haystack walk and then climb up this. It's like no, you crawl, then it's like okay, I'm waiting. Okay, you gotta wait to go to the next station and like like I said, back then when I was fresh to run a marathon, I'm I'm keeping my energy up. Like this is nothing. I'm getting these little small breaks. It's almost like what do you call it, intermittent running, where it's like, oh, you run for 30 seconds and stop. Uh, I was hitting that, and it wasn't a problem. It's just the biggest thing is just you know uh, can you crawl in the mud? Yeah, yeah. Like, can you swim? A lot of people did it, and they were like, "Oh snap! I actually can't swim." Yeah. Listen, man. Listen. And if, it, yeah, it, it, and and let me just say this, that and that was the most organized part. The Gatorade and shirt part, like they actually gave me. Yeah, that was the most organized part. Hey, Gatorade, hey dog, the shirts over there. Congratulations, you finished the race. Right. Yeah, man, listen. Huh? Say it again. Yeah, yeah. Push up. Yeah, push up station. Yeah, like I said, they had a whole lot of stations from what I remember. It just I just it's one of those things, man. It reminded me of my hop show, man. We practiced so much, and then when the show came, it's like, damn, 10 minutes gone, and then it's like, dang, I'm still like, my adrenaline is still rushing. Yeah, yeah. So like, so like, Hmm. Yeah, man. I'm like I said, I'm gonna consider it, man. I'm gonna consider it. I know. I think from what the guy told me, it's around April next year in Philly. So I told him I was like, we'll see. Um, that's like I said, I'm just getting back in the gym heavy. So like I said, we'll see. So, but mm, oh yeah, yeah, like New York, New Year resolution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm. 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 Yeah, 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 yeah. And I agree, man. I agree. So, but you know what, man? Let's go ahead and get into uh talking about this past game against the Cowboys. Let's go ahead and get to the gridiron so we can jump in and end that. Right. All right. So, the Panthers, they won 30-27. We had a field goal winner walk off. A kicker won special teams player of the week. Uh, let's start. I wrote. I got Rico Dowdle double. Let's start with Rico Dowdle. He I believe he had 184 yards rushing, but still over 200 yards of offense. So the way I see it, it's another 200-yard game from him. Uh, I think he got to keep the same, the close to the same number of carries, even when our boy Chuba Hubbard comes back. I think right now the offense flowing through him and the amount of carries he get is winning formula. So everything to me, the whole offense is basically complemented and running off of him. So Dave Canales seems like he found a great system around Rico's running and what play calls for to call for Bryce in the offense. Like I like what I'm seeing, man. I really think they turned the corner, and this Rico Dowdle signing, man, might be like end up being the best signing we've had in a long time. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If I'm Chuba, right? If I'm Chuba, I'll say he got like 80% one thing, 10% one thing, 10% another thing. So 80% I'm cool because I already got paid. So I'm cool because I already got paid. Another 10%, I'm supportive because our team, this dude is putting in a legendary performance. So if he's gonna start in front of me, I sort of feel all right because it's like, okay, this Joker's putting up 200 yards and he's helping our team. I was hurt. I got that excuse. But there's another 10%. It's like, that's not me doing it. So yeah, so it's like, dang, if I was healthy, yeah, yeah. So it's like, oh, if I was healthy and I got sort of the right game, maybe it could have been me putting up these numbers, and then everyone's talking about me. So I think it's gonna be it's just a small part of that, but I think overall he's good because he got paid. Chuba got paid, and Chuba, I think he can. I think he can complement Rico very well, him and Travis, if they become if I don't know their pass blocking skill set or grades, I should say. But if they can be decent in that area, because I think according to PFF and from what people seen, what we've seen during reviews, the only sort of fault Rico has is he's not a very good pass blocker. But so yeah, yeah. So they docked his score a lot because of his pass. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if Chuba can come back and just complement, and especially in that area, like that's just another addition to the offense. But the main thing is Rico, like we said, with these performances, you have to. Like Rico had 88% of the snaps. He got to stay at least 75%. Like until a team is able to get him under 100 yards, you got to keep him going. Even if it's start, yeah, you got to keep it rolling. I think until the team primarily stops him and he gets under 100 yards, nah, Rico has to keep going. And yeah, yeah, right. Hmm. Oh yeah. Hmm. And yeah, and one quick thing I'm gonna add. that energy of like, hey, we're coming to y'all. You better strap up. Panthers been needing that energy for some years. Just that, like Dan Morgan said, dog mentality. Hey, when I come to your when I come to play y'all, I'm trying to knock you in the mouth. So you better be ready, cause I'm gonna embarrass you if you're not. Yeah, yeah, and I like that a whole lot. Hey, I'm coming to Dallas to knock you in the mouth. He went out there and did it. So, shout out to Rico Dowdle, man. Like I said, he did it twice. I'm rooting for him, and like I said, I think the whole offense is just benefiting off of him, like everyone on offense. Okay, let's go into yeah, yeah, T Mac, that's his primary skill set, I believe. Just primary skill set is being a red zone and mid, option, um, in the intermediate routes and whatnot. And I think, he showed that in the Cowboys game. And, he looked, yeah, yeah. So the big thing with T Mac on why he be such a great red zone, not just, not of course, his size, he's 6'5", he got some leaping ability and long arms. Uh, but more important than that is he's very smooth in the first 5 to 10 yards, and he has very good. He can run very good routes, just quick slants or just quick intermediate routes. That's where he does extremely well, and what that makes him a great red zone target is because a guy that big is so smooth in the red zone and he already has long arms, him just getting a point 0.5 second of advantage, bam, he's going to get a touchdown. Because what are you going to do? Because corners already have to take in account of his size. This is a 6'5" dude with arms and can jump. So they already have to, get ready to be physical with him and whatnot. But then you add that he got like a little wiggle. He's not, just a big dude that's trying to body. He can like juke you out. Um, he can shake you off and do a lot of those routes. It makes it just extremely hard for the defense to stop him in the red zone, and he's a big target. So like I think on the second touchdown, I think he actually came back after running his initial route, and Bryce found him, and that the defense is like, hey, what are we supposed to do? Like even if we able to stop him off early, he can just move a little bit over to the left, and then it's like a free target. So yeah, man, yeah, yeah, he's he's extremely, and like I said, I really like the vision of this past NFL draft, and I see why T Mac just off the first game why we looked at him and said, okay, we need to go with him number one. Like we don't need like he has a different, I guess, skill set to the average wide receiver, and yeah, yeah. So like him and a guy I think that really needs some more snaps. The rookie tight end Mitchell Evans. Right now he's like the top ranked PFF ranked tight end. And if you watch film, the big thing is he is a great blocker. He's a great blocker, and he's also a good red zone target because of how quick he is. T Mac is pretty quick too, and like I said, just quick and smooth for their size. And I'm looking at the snaps. He got about 58% of the snaps. Tommy Tremble got about 73. I think in it, Yeah, yeah. I think with his skill set, because he's a great blocker, it's easy to mix and match Tommy Tremble and Jatavion Sanders when Sanders come back. Because you got the blocker. So you got the blocker. So either you go double block with Tommy Tremble, or you can have Mitchell Evans or Tommy Tremble. You try to pass catch, or Jatavion Sanders if you want him to be a more pass catcher. Mitchell Evans is still like your dominant blocker. You still have them in the two tight end lineup. So yeah, I think he need to be tight end one, man. It's like, come on, like he's already showing potential. He already has the camaraderie with Bryce Young. Like, give a man more snaps. You saw what happened when you gave more snaps to Nick Scorton and defensive pass rushers. Uh, do the same for offense. Jimmy Horn Jr. Yeah, Jimmy Horn Jr. He got about 21% of snaps. I think he that needs to go up to around 30, maybe 30%. Now I see that Bryson Tremaine got a good bit of percentage of snaps, and I think I've heard he's a pretty good blocker for a wide receiver. So yeah, so I do like that his snap percentage is going up. Yeah, yeah, he's a big dude too, and he can do a lot of, like I said, he's a wide receiver that can do a lot of the dirty work with pass block. Run blocking. And but I did like during the game Jimmy Horn they tried to do like a reverse play with him. It didn't really. I think only got like 1 yard, but Jimmy Horn he can do a bit more as well, like doing motions and whatnot out the background. Like I said, I think the goal for Jimmy Horn is to use him like Zay Flowers, and I think Jimmy Horn has the speed and like the dog mentality to do that. Yeah, and that would go extremely well with Bryce Strips. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And, and, and like I said, you see, we have so much potential for the offense to get better. They're young, you're trying things new. And the main thing is like I said, it starts with Rico Dowdle. And as long as he's running hard, I think you're starting to see the strengths of some of these other players on offense being able to shine. And, of course, like Bryce Young, I think I was extremely proud of Bryce, man. I can't remember a game when he looked that comfortable. Like yeah, he looked comfortable. I actually saw him step in the pocket a good bit, and he was delivering the passes much better than he has done any time this season. So I think now he sees the offense and trusts how successful this offense could be. And maybe this is what Bryce needed all along. You know, just you, yeah, yeah, just an offense like an offense that runs through the running backs, and I'm complimenting our running game. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. hmm Well, we still got to take advantage, man. So it's like, hey, if we didn't, we'd be like, hey, are they really the worst defense? But I still give them, um, I still give them kudos because they still had to compete with the offense, and they still, delivered and still, came away with the win. The offense did extremely well. So, yeah, the defense isn't very good, but like they still like basically did what they were supposed to do. And you're right, right, right. And we've been used to saying that, like, come on, man, this is the worst defense, and we not doing this is this, you know. So the way I see it, I think Austin Corbett needs to stay on the bench. I know they're trying to bring him back. He need to stay on the bench. Uh, Robert Hunt, when he comes back next year, I know they're considering bringing him back at the end of the year. But if he, yeah, should be the whole season. But with him, I would just keep him out for the season, and I think you can bring him back next year because I think Brady Christensen is probably going to get a big contract next year. So I don't think Yeah, so I don't think he's going to be on the Panthers next year. I think he's playing pretty well at guard. He's an older player. He wants that, nice contract. Yeah, and we can't pay him because, yeah, Damian Lewis, Robert Hunt, and we're probably going to have to pay Icky. Yeah, so it's like, hey, you're going to have to, yeah, uh-huh. So, free him, yeah, you just, I think we're going to just have to let him go. Cade Mays, I don't know his contract if he's a free agent, but he might go next year. I think we might have a whole new center we need to look at next year. Um, but who knows with him? But I think it's gonna be a couple guys on offense looking for a big payday, especially like hey, we shown that once we got our starting chance, we've helped turn around the Panthers offense. You know, I I need this big payday. So yeah, I can see that. So hmm but yeah, offense. Who do you see on offense that you just like either want to see a little bit more playing time, or you just think like, hey, right now the system is pretty good. What do you think? hmm Yeah. hmm I think they'll let us know by Friday, but yeah, yeah, that's when Coker comes back, that's going to be real interesting, man, because I wonder somebody on offense that's not T Mac is going to have to sort of drop off like hard. And yeah, because they really like Jalen Coker, and they could bring him around. They could bring him along like only like 10 snaps or so. But I think they're gonna throw him in like as wide receiver, number three at least. So like, do you take away some snaps from Hunter Renfro? Do you take away some snaps from Bryson Tremaine? Do you take away some snaps from they probably would, yeah, like Jimmy Horn. Um, Bryson's been, doing well. Like all the, and even Hunter Renfro is starting to, get some camaraderie with Bryce. Uh, I just want to see how. I wonder how they're gonna try to fit him in. Like how many snaps they're gonna try to, throw at him because his with his skill set, I could definitely see him balling with Bryce. So like, yeah, if he's good, so like, we'll see. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. And, and, and you know what? I don't know if he was insinuating this, but that's if my early prediction. This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Xavier Leggett is the one who's going to lose snaps, and yeah, I think what's going to happen is they're going to rotate all those wide receivers: Xavier Leggett, Jalen Coker, Renfro, Bryson, and Jimmy Horn. And I think none of them are going to have over 50% of the snaps. T Mac is going to stay like, 90%, 100%. But rest of them are going to stay like, it, like right now, like in the last game, Xavier Leggett was the only other wide receiver. He had like a 73% of snaps. I think that dropped down to like maybe 50. Jalen Coker maybe gets up to like, 30, 40. And then, some of the other players get like 30, 40. And what we're looking at is, hey, we got all these other wide receivers that got different skills, so we're going to sub them in and rotate them and, do all that. But T Mac is going to be the main consistent wide receiver. Yeah. 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 So, I can see that now. So, like I said, we'll see, man. So, let's talk about defense. All right. So, the defense, I think if you look at the score and watch the game, you would you would think the defense struggled mightily. I'll say the secondary struggled mightily, but I thought the defense still was pretty all right. Yeah, tell me, what did you think? Pickens. Yes, JC. I don't. That's. Mhm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna say this, man. I think they need to decide whether they're gonna do like the old Seahawks Legion of Boom, where it's like, hey, J.C. Horn is on just this side, shutting down this side, and then the secondary is gonna sort of cheat to the other side, and it's like, okay, that's how we're gonna help, cheat and help, Mike Jack a little bit and double, double on that side. We need to decide whether we're gonna do that or we're gonna let J.C. Horn travel. But we can't let yeah, we can't let what happened with Dallas keep happening because that's what teams gonna do. They're just gonna say, hey, we got JC Horn, on this side. We're gonna just try to target Mike Jack and get him solo. He's not, he don't have any help necessarily, and uh, yeah, yeah, that's not gonna work. Um, you know, Nick Scott. I don't know who Nick Scott knows. Uh, he needs less snaps at safety. Uh, I saw he he had a all. I guess he did, man. But I gotta check. Yeah, yeah, I gotta check. But like Nick, I think Ransom needs some more burn in his spot. Either him or Demani. Yeah, either him or Demani Richardson. And I'm leaning more towards Ransom. Like Ransom didn't get many snaps this game against Dallas, and yeah, yeah, he like I said, he needs more snaps. Canales, you're the head coach. Oh, you're fighting, you're encouraging for your rookies. Hey, come on! I need you to put Ransom in the game more. Ransom went from like they said I think he went from 36 snaps to just 7 against the Cowboys. Like, nah, he needs to stay 30 plus snaps. Yeah, yeah. Like, I think Avero gets comfortable with certain players. I think that's his biggest flaw. Like, I think, especially with guys he thinks are his guys, like Nick Scott, he pushed to sign him. He pushed for like, DJ Johnson. It's like, oh, this is my guy. I really want to believe in the skill set of this guy. Yeah, right, right. And that's where Canales needs to step in as a head coach and say, hey, this your guy, but he's not performing. Like, hey, you know, hmm yeah, 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 right, yeah, ETN. The yeah, yeah. And one thing, I think we both, the Carolina boys, have believed right after this draft happened. We both was like, this draft felt different. Like I actually felt really good. I can't, and like I said, we both couldn't remember the last time we felt this good about an NFL draft. Like good about the like almost all of the picks. So yeah, yeah. And and I like I said, I really do believe those PFF additions to the scouting and the GM pardon, the GM room really really helped our guys with looking at how to do the draft. Oh yeah. I was actually mhm, yeah. hmm Um, yeah, whatever we figured out at middle linebacker, man, like bravo. We it seemed like we figured out how to get the most out of Roseboom and Wallace. So I know they was talking about I think they changed play calling duties. Uh yeah, it seemed like that's helped our linebackers a whole lot. So I've definitely seen improvement with them, and you know I think with our pass rushers, even though I think I saw Patrick Jones, he's out for the season, had got to get a lower back surgery. Um, yeah, man, it just happened, man. Just happened today, earlier today, and, and yeah, man, and and believe it or not, man, he had the most snaps at outside linebacker. So yeah, 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 he had a yeah. I think he was a really good complimentary outside linebacker. I think now that Nick Scotton was a starter, I think he went well with him and Princely. Um, I think what's going to have to happen is, you give Scotton some more play time, you give Princely some more play time, you go DJ Warner more play time, and then you got to look at like some other outside linebacker either on our roster or somebody in the practice squad, somebody, and like, hey, this is your chance to make a name for yourself. But yeah, man, yeah, he just ran. Yeah. I thought he was doing well. Uh, so so I think 2 years. Yeah, and then you hope. he come back, at least maybe in a backup pass rushing role or something. And you see how, yeah. Hmm. Yeah, man. It's yeah, that's that's all we can hope for, man. And the main thing is we got to see how our pass rush still. We haven't gotten much sacks as the team hoped for. We got to see how these guys step up. With this injury, and I'm thinking Princely. I think Princely is due like dominant game. So I'm ready for him to get. Yeah, I think he's getting there. Scorton had a dominant game last week. Uh, I think Princely, is due a dominant game. I think he has the ability. So yeah, yeah, yeah. So like we'll see. But right now, like you said, the defense stood when they needed to, and I think they're improving. I think I see the team a lot better, the defense a lot better than when the first three games where people were ready for Vero to get fired. Like, hey, before that Atlanta game, I think if we would have got beat down by Atlanta, Vero was out the door. So, but I think he got it to work. It's just I think just small improvements in the secondary uh, is what is the final puzzle piece. That and just figuring out the pass rush. Um, D line, boy Derek Brown, Brian Baldinger, he does a video on Derek Brown every week. Like yeah, those guys, Ashawn Robinson, and like you said, your boy Bobby Brown, those guys are handling business. Yeah, 50 shut and like Derek Brown, man, it's I know a lot of people was sort of upset that he's more of a run stuffer than a pass rushing D tackle, and I think we're seeing the benefit of that now. Like man, man, having just a guy that's such a big D tackle that's good around the run is like that's hugely beneficial, especially for our linebackers and the rest of the team. So it's nice to see sort of like a guy that that stops the defense. I've always wanted our defense would want to be like like top three rush defense. I would always want the Panthers to shoot for that. Like stop the run. Like yeah, you're gonna have to put up prime passing yards to beat us, but you're not gonna run on us. Oh yeah. Hmm. Yeah, you know, mm, yeah. If I'm Cam Jackson, man, I'm looking at Derek Brown, and I'm looking at there's an old school named Sean Rogers, D tackle that played for the Lions and then went to the Browns. Uh, he was 6'5", 350. Like before he broke his leg, he was a dominant big man D tackle, and he actually had a little bit of pass rush ability. And you throw like that type of athletic big dude ability on the D line and nose tackle. Like man, I think Cam Jackson got that type of ability. Like, so like that's. Hmm. And, mhm. Yes. Yeah, 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 yeah. So, ooh, yeah, yeah, and a different level of intensity. Yeah. So, I agree, man. So all right. So we talked about offense and defense. So next, week seven's coming up. We're playing the 0-6 New York Jets, and I believe this is a home game. So it's a home game, away game. Yeah, yeah. Excuse, pardon me. This away game in New York. But The 0-6 Jets. Right now the Jets look horrible. Justin Fields, the quarterback, had a -10 passing yard total. -10. Listen, man, uh, the defense, even though Aaron Glenn's retired for his defense, the Jets defense hasn't been good. So, you know, I think this game is must win. And this is why. So, ever since Bryce Young, we made the trade for Bryce Young, and Bryce Young has been quarterback, and we went in with Frank Wright and then, Dave Canales. We've had a losing record. So just losing record. This is our closest chance to have a winning record. So our team has not, had a winning record since the last time the Panthers had some type of winning record was when Matt Rule was the head coach. And and it was 2021. We won 3 games and then we lost 8 straight or something like that. And then you're right before. So right before, and then after that season, it's like, hey, this guy's, he's not cut out to Pastor. But then we gave him a 3rd year because we already had signed him to like what was it, like a 7-year contract? Yeah, and what happens? We start off 1-4, and then we fire him. Then that's when, yeah, man, yeah. Listen, man, like, hey, you signed me. I need 5 years. So yeah, cut me after the 2nd year. Yeah, yeah. So like, hey, all I gotta do is not take another coaching job. Fine. you know, if I want one, I could get one on the 5th year. But these next 2 years, I'm relaxing. hmm And this listen, like hey, but Dave Canales, this is a good time to make a statement win. Like, we've been sort of struggling with away games. You know, uh, this is to get a winning record. You get to go back home. It's going to be a tough opponent, but then, we'll be energized. Like, you know, I think this just, everybody's expecting the Jets to lose. We need to do what we're supposed to do and beat a really bad struggling team. And we, like I said, right. Yeah, yeah. It's yeah. Listen, like the Jets defense, they rank pretty good against the pass, not so good against the run. Like, okay, hey, that's setting up to use Rico even more. Uh, on the offense, do you want um Do you want Justin Fields to beat you, or do you want Brees Hall and some of those guys to try? Garrett Wilk, the top wide receiver number one, he's gonna be out. Garrett Wilson. Like, we need to handle business and get this win, not just for not even just for the team, but for the fan base. Like, when the last time we had a winning record, even just for a week or two? Like, it's like I say, it's been years. We need something to cheer for. Yeah, yeah. Like, I want to be able to talk trash. Like, dog, 4-3. We're the same record as the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, hey, we're looking at playoffs now. Like, come on, I'm ready for these division games. I want that type of energy. A couple of games before, I was already looking at NFL draft. Like, hey, who's coming out and what position I think we're gonna be at. So, yeah, yeah. So, you know, yeah. Hmm. Right. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I listen. This is perfect, and this is the only thing I say. This is a perfect time to solidify what we do, and like Rico, if you get another 100-yard game, 200. I'm not even gonna look for 200. Another 100-yard game, defense shut down another running back. I think we'll win pretty handedly, and that'll show, hey, we're ready to fight teams like the Bills and the Packers, some of those, games we got coming up, because we know what we want to do on offense, and we're confident that we can do it and play and keep up with teams like those. So, like I said, perfect game, man, must win. A game, I think, you lose a game like this against the Jets, I don't see the team being confident to get the Buffalo Bills since we got them right after. You win, right, right. Hmm. Yeah, hmm And man, ooh, so like I said, we'll see. And like I said, it's way different. Losing the game against the old 16, then heading to the Bills versus winning the game, winning record. You about to face the Bills at home. Like I say, way different energy. And you know, if I'm the Panthers, man, like I said, I want that. Hey, we're protecting our house with this winning record energy. We're undefeated at home. This is, this like I said, this is what we do. Come to our house and play us and see how we get down. hmm Yeah. hmm Right. Listen, man. Listen. If they get me out there with winning record and talking about that, listen, my section is gonna be lit. Any section, yeah. Listen, man. Listen, amazing eight. Listen. Everybody gonna be on their feet. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna let anybody, sit down. Listen, we're cheering. I want everybody's throat hoarse from yelling and cheering. Like, listen, we're gonna let them know we're there. hmm Yeah, man. We listen. We can work it out, man. Like I said, we listen. Your frat house boys. We might work something out, man. You know, uh, yes, sir, man. Let have a show live, show you how we do the things. Frat house style. But but yeah, man. I think that's about it, man. For this upcoming game. What's if you could leave one thing for the fans to think about, for this upcoming week, what's the one last message you could think about, the lead for the Panther Nation? Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, man. And um, I guess the only thing I would say, man, play the young guys. Keep playing the young guys. Like, dog, let the youth movement continue. I'm talking about we've already got some players with more play. Keep playing them. Like youth, the like God said, say from Naruto, man, the fountain of youth, man, is gonna carry us. Okay, we need to look at our young players. We need to continue playing those guys, man. And not only will that lead us into this season, but that'll lead us into the future. So that that's that's the only thing I would leave the Panther Nation and even Panther Panther General, just play the young guys, youth, full on youth movement. Yeah. Right. And this like I said, this draft, and then we're gonna fix a lot of mistakes. One thing I still we still got planned. We're gonna create this episode talking about the really bad known NFL drafts. The first one is gonna be the which are the Dave Gettleman. I'm trying to think of the year, but it's the I believe it's the Vernon Butler draft. We're gonna take a deep dive into that draft, and I want to say that's 2016 NFL draft, but it's drafts like that, man, and sad to say, I think they're gonna include 2024 NFL draft in there. But those drafts are killers, man. Those drafts, when you want to like build a team up, like those drafts are what stop you from your team from going to the next level, or even even like being mediocre. We can't you can't even be mediocre when you're just your whole draft is horrible. And yeah, it's horrible. Yeah, it's horrible, and then the fans know it's horrible because you don't feel good when the draft ended. Like did we did we do good? Like I'm gonna just maybe they know something. You have to convince yourself. Maybe they know something I don't know. Yeah, right. Yeah, think about that, man. We drafted somebody that couldn't even make it out of training camp, and yeah, just ooh. But like I said, we're gonna put, yeah, we're gonna assume. But all right, fellas, I think that's it for this episode, man. Like I said, this next Jets game is gonna be real exciting. We're gonna have to, we might have to do, you're gonna have to see what these guys, what Panthers put together. But I'm thinking it's a Panthers win. I'm thinking it's a Panthers win, and I'm gonna get ready to celebrate. I'm telling you, I'm gonna get ready to celebrate now. Yeah, yeah. I want Rico. Listen, Rico put up 100 yards and a touchdown this game. He's my RB1 rest of the season. So, I'm like I said, Rico, make it happen, man. But all right, guys. This is your boy Amazing A. You got the Frozen Panther. We're gonna go ahead and log out. Stay tuned, man. Let's see the Panthers go ahead and try to get this win. All right, peace.